Hi everyone. I hope you can see me okay. This video is going to be about Episodic Ataxia type 2, and I wanted to share some information and some experiences with you, because I'm diagnosed with EA2, also known as Episodic Ataxia type 2, and I like to raise awareness on such rare disease and to bring about clarity to other people that may be struggling with it, possibly, to help others understand if they, never heard of it, because very few people have actually heard of this. And I've been to many people and I was like, well, I'm diagnosed with episodic ataxia type 2, and they're like, what the heck is that? Many people never even heard of it. So that's what this video is for. So whether you also have episodic ataxia type 2, or you want you're seeing doctors and they don't understand what's going on, and first of all, it's best to see like a specialist that knows about the ataxias. But I hope you find this video helpful, and anyways, I'll carry on here. So symptoms first started to appear for me around the age of 10. They started out as occasional dizzy spells. I would have these once or twice a year, but then as I got older, they got worse and they increased, they became more frequent, and they became more severe. And I was growing up, I was seeing many different doctors, I was having tests done after tests, and they could not figure out why I was having these dizzy spells, and then suddenly I was becoming nauseous and I was throwing up. And oh, by the way, I hope you like my shirt. I'm wearing an ataxia awareness shirt. Maybe you can see it. And it's just appropriate for this video. But yeah, I was seeing many doctors. They didn't seem too knowledgeable about it, until one day I was seeing an eye doctor, and I was told, I was told to come in during an episode, like if I were to have like an episode of my ataxia. First of all, with episodic ataxia, unlike many other ataxias out there, it comes and goes in episodes. So in between these episodes, you have mild symptoms. You may have troubles. Some people, it varies differently for everyone. Some people may have nystagmus in between the episodes of severe ataxia, dizziness and vomiting and all that, but some people may have, persistent troubles with their balance in between episodes as well. So it's not just, for some people it's not just you're okay and then you have an episode and you are like totally free from ataxia when you're not in an episode. For some people it may be like that, but for others it may not be, okay? Because I've been coming to understand that it can be different for everyone. I seem, according to the doctors and my many neurological evaluations, I seem to have very little or even no difficulty unless if I were to have an episode. So it was hard to like pinpoint, like when I would see these doctors and I would go in and they would give me a neurological evaluation. You know, I walked heel to toe just fine, you know, with no problem. And these other things they'd ask me to do to check my coordination, my balance, and everything. And it would all be okay to them. The one thing they did notice is that I had persistent nystagmus, which is involuntary eye movements in between my episodes. But other than that, I totally seem to be fine without any difficulty in between. The only thing I do notice is that I process things a little bit slowly, and physically, like, I've had trouble like keeping jobs where I'd be cashiering and it would get like busy, because I would not be able to physically keep up with the fast-paced stuff. That's with any job that required multitasking and fast-paced. Physically, I would have trouble, you know, keeping up, and that's always there, and that seems to be persistent. But other than that, I did not get diagnosed until I was 17. I think it was in 2009. So I was having the symptoms for years before I was finally diagnosed. I had tests. They all said that it was okay. I did not have anything wrong according to my test results. I had several MRIs they told me was normal, which I felt was very strange because I was having all these symptoms. Like, how could my MRI be normal, you know what I mean? So that I did not quite understand. And I still had all the symptoms of ataxia, so go figure. From my understanding with episodic ataxia, and I brought it up to my neurologist, that it is possible to have a normal MRI. According to what my neurologist said, he wasn't too specific, but said that it is possible to have a normal MRI, you know. Some people don't. With episodic ataxia type 2, some people develop cerebellum atrophy, which is a shrinkage involving the cerebellum part of the brain, which can show up on an MRI as well. And I'll go along with the symptoms I've personally experienced, and then I'll wrap this video up. I'm off the top of my head. Severe balance and uncoordination. It often appears like you are drunk, per se. Some people experience slurred speech. I went into the eye doctor during an episode, like I was trying to say before, and I couldn't talk that day. I was couldn't speak clearly, and he looked into my eyes and said it was a neurological condition. That's how I got in touch with a great doctor in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at a movement disorders clinic. And that's how I was officially diagnosed, was through that experience. So, severe vertigo and dizziness. Let's see, I've experienced nausea and vomiting, which can be severe. I've experienced muscle weakness. I've experienced hot flashes. to the point I've literally turned red and ran a low-grade fever during it. I've experienced anxiety, depression, panic attacks due to feelings that it was so traumatic and severe. It would throw me into like anxiety. There are certain triggers that come along with episodic ataxia, and that could be physical exertion, can bring out symptoms, anxiety and stress were most common with me. Let's see. I've experienced muscle weakness, tremors, or shaking during an episode only. Double vision. Nystagmus would get worse as well, which is the involuntary eye movements. And I would also see in twos, so it was like double vision. Really weird. My pupils would get dilated too. Let's see. Difficulty walking. In severe cases, like when I was at school, the nurse had to get like a wheelchair because I couldn't walk. It was so severe. My legs felt like they weren't working and they felt like spaghetti. My limbs, my arms would give out too. I have collapsed in like physical education at one time. It was at school. It was not in high school though, it was before that. I remember that very well. So, to name a few, those are a few symptoms off the top of my head right now. Those are a few main ones that I would experience the most. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap up this video. It's getting pretty long. So I hope you found this information helpful and promote ataxia awareness. Bye now.